Thank you for joining us in Finding God in the World of Video Games. And today we're going to take a look at Cloud Strife, the heroic protagonist from the beloved classic Final Fantasy VII game, and its myriad of slightly less beloved spin-offs like, I don't know, Dirge of Cerberus, which was weird, and Crisis Core, which wasn't that fun to play. But he may be among the most enigmatic gaming heroes that I have seen. He's aptly named. If you look at his name, Cloud Strife, it's designed to combine the impenetrability of being able to, you can't see through a cloud, and then his profound inner conflict, Cloud and Strife.
Thanks.
Does that blow your mind?
My mind is blown.
She's not really that mind blown on. She doesn't really care.
Not really. I was about to say I really don't care.
But I thought it was clever. So Cloud Strife is a conflicted and typically reluctant hero trying to find himself while being thrust into world-saving predicaments. And like most protagonists in a role-playing game, especially from back in that era, he of course suffers from partial amnesia because they all do. It's kind of par for the course. And then on top of that, he has some very serious antisocial tendencies. He doesn't like to talk, and when he does, it's a lot of ... which is supposed to emote something apparently. He's kind of better well known for his sense of style and his larger-than-life sword rather than his personality. Now, he is far from emotionless because, you know, he's emo all the time. But he definitely stands in sharp contrast to the very defiant and outspoken party that joins him on his quest. And that's further explored in what I consider to be a really solid spin-off movie, Advent Children, which finally gave Cloud the opportunity to add some much-needed depth to his character while facing his eternal foe Sephiroth one final time.
Now, Sephiroth, that's a character that knows how to really own a room, for reals. Brash and overconfident, the one-winged angel never misses a chance to showcase his over-the-top personality, and he could not provide a more stark contrast to his protagonist counterpart.
And as Cloud battles with who he truly is, and struggles to find his place in the world, Sephiroth basks in his full realization that he is simply a destructive force who truly wants to watch the world burn. Literally, that's what he wants. He wants a meteor to come and destroy all of it. And interestingly, their climactic battle in the game really didn't bring the expected outcome to either of these individuals, because when you watch the movie, you find Cloud operating a delivery service of sorts. He's kind of working for, I guess, Grubhub or Postmates or something. That was a missed opportunity for them to kind of get some branding on there.
I think that movie was made well before.
Well, then they should have known it was coming. And of course, once again, he's keeping his friends at arm's length. He's refusing to answer his phone. All the meanwhile, the essence of Sephiroth still is swirling with all the venom and force of an F5 tornado filled with deadly cobras. Now, I could have done a Sharknado reference there, but I didn't, and I'm showing restraint, and you're welcome for that. All of you are probably much better off. I think that ship is finally sailed anyway. What did they finish on? The 7th one? 8th?
I don't even know. I stopped after the first because it was so terrible.
It's better for all of us.
Alright, so at the end of Advent Children, we find Cloud and Sephiroth locked into one final epic duel to the death, which was amazing. If you haven't seen it, you totally need to. It's the best.
Still stands up.
Yes, absolutely. Which is less of a mere sword fight than it is a decision point for Cloud. His battle with Sephiroth is really just forcing him to face his internal demons of self-doubt, fear, and the emotional / physical disconnection he displays towards those he cares for.
And it is in the climax of that battle that Sephiroth taunts Cloud with perhaps one of the oddest questions I've ever heard in such a circumstance. And for years, I blamed it on either maybe it was a poor translation from the original Japanese, or maybe it was just another one of those really odd phrasings that happens quite frequently in the Final Fantasy series. So Sephiroth nearly has victory in hand. He's literally got his sword through Cloud at the time, and he says, "Tell me what you cherish most. Give me the pleasure of taking it away."
That's kind of odd.
It doesn't make a lot of sense. I don't even know why you'd answer that question.
I don't understand.
And honestly, Cloud was in a lot of pain. So at that point, he's probably like, if you take the sword out of my shoulder, I'll tell you.
Yeah.
If you even wanted to answer it. It was kind of weird. And at the time, and for a long time, it was just an odd question. And I thought maybe Sephiroth got lost in the battle and just said something random for fun. But after all these years, now I think I actually finally get it.
So in the book of James, it contains many of those challenging verses to live up to in all of the Bible. And it starts with a kind of a doozy. Right there in chapter 1, James gets to the heart of the matter by encouraging us to count it all joy when things go wrong.
James 1 verses 2 through 4, he says, "My brethren, count it all joy when you fall into various trials, knowing that the testing of your faith produces patience. But let patience have its perfect work, that you may be perfect and complete, lacking nothing. Now, those are some of the words that rank among my least favorite to find in proximity to each other in a sentence. Enduring tests and trials is certainly unpleasant enough, but to find actual joy in them, to treasure these horrible experiences, with my limited perspective, using my carnal mind, that sounds both preposterous and maybe even impossible. When I'm suffering pain, or I'm dealing with a loss, or maybe I'm just struggling through a difficult personal situation, for me personally, joy is pretty far from my thoughts.
The last thing I'm thinking.
I mean, I just want to cocoon myself in my misery, throw myself a pity party, and just give up.
Yeah, now I don't know about you, but I get exhausted from all the conflict, and it is honestly just really tempting to just let the devil win so the battle will just be over with and done. And it is in that moment, the point of certain defeat, that victory is truly found.
Now, you see, James never tells us to find joy in our trials because enduring them yields victory. No, quite the opposite. Enduring our trials, he says, produces patience, not satisfaction, nor a sense of winning. And patience has a very specific purpose, and he says that in verse 4, that you may be complete. Our trials aren't intended to cause us pain, although sometimes they will.
But all the time.
Yeah, most of the time. But it's through enduring these that we will receive the promise that was found in verse 12, the crown of life that the Lord has promised to those who love him.
Now, Cloud, who was physically dying of an incurable disease, emotionally unable to cope with the losses of those he cared most about, and now run through and dangling precariously at the end of his adversary, Sephiroth's sword, has all of the reason in the world to give up. I mean,
kind of expected him to.
Yeah.
Been a terrible ending to the movie, but I mean, he's been whining so much.
Oh my goodness.
At a certain point.
But as his enemy gloats in his pending defeat, Cloud finally experiences the breakthrough that changes nothing about his situation and everything about how he looks at it.
That's right, because his loved ones are still gone. He is still going to die of a terminal disease if this battle doesn't finish him first, and it's not going terribly well for him. His defeat is basically imminent. But as he mentally reviews his situation, he finally achieves the realization that there is not a single part of his life, not even those ones that created the physical and emotional scars that he was still carrying, that he does not cherish as part of the tapestry that is his life and shaped him into the soldier that he has now become. And that is the moment when this all makes sense. Now, in the real world, the devil has a very clear mission statement. You see it in John 10:10, to steal and kill and destroy. He will never stop. He will forever search for the trigger that will break you once and for all. The peace we are promised is protection in the storm, not from the storm. And by realizing that the trial is only making us stronger, we can find joy, not in the pain, but in the knowledge that we are growing in our patient dependence on God, becoming less self-sufficient and more Christ-reliant with each successive challenge.
As Cloud unleashes an epic Omni Slash that sends his enemy into oblivion one more time,
hopefully the last time.
I am inspired to consider my own responses to trials and the disappointments inherent in living this Christian life. The devil has certainly stolen from me, tried to kill me, and continues to make numerous attempts to destroy me and my faith.
But our story is not unique. We are all enduring trials that are designed by our enemy to destroy us, but they are used by our Father to build us. But to truly endure these the way we are intended to, we must embrace them, the same way Christ embraced the cross he was given to bear. As Cloud seemed to finally discover, the joy is in cherishing each step of the journey for what it is, one step closer to completion.